Welcome, everybody. It's time once again for another episode of OC Spotlight, the only show that takes a look at the most amazing people doing the most incredible things right here in your own backyard. And boy, have we got some amazing people and some amazing stories for you, right, Claudia? Our
Right.
Public Affairs Director, Claudia Shambo.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to OC Spotlight. This is the March 23rd, 2018 edition. My guest today is Brenda Diedericks, Chief Human Resources Officer for the County of Orange. Brenda began her human resources career at San Bernardino County while earning her Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science from Cal State Polytechnic University in Pomona. She next worked for the Southern California Rapid Transit District for 10 years in both human resources and labor relations. While there, she earned a law degree from Loyola Law School. Brenda went on to practice labor and employment law, providing and serving as the Labor and Employment Law Department Chair for two major public law firms for 10 years before returning to public service as the Executive Officer for Labor and Employment, Human Resources and Training for LA County Metropolitan Transportation Authority. She opened her own law firm in 2007, which she operated until returning to public service in 2014 as the Human Resources Director for the City of Riverside. Since June 2016, Brenda has been serving as the Chief Human Resources Officer for the County of Orange. She joins me in studio with all kinds of news about the opportunities you may not know about but been wondering about. Welcome to OC Spotlight, Brenda Diedericks.
Well, Claudia, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting us.
So welcome. Let's open. What's the latest scoop on actual openings right now? What's available? Are there any real urgent gaps?
There always are urgent gaps. We are excited to invite people to come and apply to the county. We have over 700 different job titles, and that means that at any given time, we have quite a number of positions available to be filled. And they range from entry level, where you do not need a degree of any sort. Often in those entry-level positions, we provide all the training to them so they can walk in and we will give them everything they need to be proficient in the job. We also have a variety of different types of fields, everything from entry-level to top-level professional and all in between. When I say top-level professional, we have nurses, we have doctors, we have engineers, we have social service workers, we have park rangers, we have a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, I think everybody can absolutely relate to the hiring process lines of inquiry. Why don't you lead us through the general process? How does that take place really?
Well, Orange County, like all other employers, has gone to the online application route. So everybody needs to understand that right off to get started. And they can do that from any place that they can access a computer. They could even do it from their phone. However, we understand that not everyone has their own personal computer, and we've arranged to manage that. So we have libraries with computers. We have community centers that have computers. I would recommend that they give the community center a call and find out for sure that there is one there. But additionally, in our Hall of Administration, which is on 333 South Santa Ana Boulevard, we have a kiosk in our lobby that is open the same hours we are, where people can apply right there in the lobby. There's a couple of computers available from 8 to 5.
A kiosk, not like the airline kiosk, but a kiosk like what like personal computers.
Correct, Claudia.
A bank of them.
Thank you for clarifying that.
No, there's all kinds.
And so we have actual computers that they can sit at and fill out their application.
So when was the last time you completed one of those applications? How did it go?
Oh, it was maybe 4 years ago.
And how long did it take you to log on, fill in everything, and get a confirmation, and then be on your way?
It actually went pretty fast. You have to make sure that you have collected your background information, the dates that you worked at particular jobs, the addresses of those. So make sure that when you sit down to fill it in, you've brought all that with you. And then you take a look at the job description itself and make sure that you answer it specific to that job. Not just generic, like I did this for a few years, I did that for a few years. You want to custom hone your application so it is selected to go forward in that process.
Keywords are 95% of that form.
They absolutely are.
Or it could be 96. I could underestimate a bit.
I think you're darn close.
So that's So what are the benefits working for the County of Orange, and shall I say, for working for constituents and working for all of us in the studio?
Well, we want to make sure that our employees stay happy, and so there's a number of things that we have available that we would put under the benefit category. Number one is that we have over 18,000 positions in the county. That's jobs. And what that allows for is you might start out as a mechanic, and you might then graduate to being a manager while getting your degree to be an engineer. And you can switch careers. So that is a benefit. And the key way that you can do that is we have benefits in two forms. We have tuition reduction agreements with a number of universities in our region for our employees.
Orange County, right?
Yes.
Including UCI, Cal State Fullerton,
Yes.
and all the community colleges.
Correct, for many of them. And then we also provide a $3,000, up to $3,000 a year of tuition reimbursement or professional development reimbursement for our employees. So while they're in those programs, they're getting reimbursed by us to be attending those.
Okay. And that's a pretty clear, I mean, you lead them through how that's managed. So that's part of the purview of human resources to
Correct.
help people out that. And do you go through, I don't know if there's a sort of like a listserv for all of the County of Orange employees, but there's a way that there's reminders that there aren't deadlines necessarily for applying for those, but I guess you want to have that for the deadline for your admissions procedure with any one of those
Correct.
Educational institutions.
And then another path for benefits is our medical and health care benefits. And in there, we make sure that our employees' health and welfare is taken care of, and so they don't have to worry about how to pay the medical bill or how to get the dental care for their children or for themselves. And then on top of that, we take care and help with the financial welfare of them by having pre-tax savings plans for all employees. So that way they can put a little money away now in addition to the retirement that they're earning through the county and have that supplement them when they're in their retirement years. And that's on top of the retirement benefits that we have.
Okay.
Because we have our benefits program is through the Orange County Retirement System, and they can accrue benefits that will pay them for the remainder of their life after they retire. And often the retirement age can be as early as 55.
Wow.
That's very young, isn't it?
It is young. So, well, let's turn to the applicant's own, the prospective applicants developing, needing to bring skills, developing skills on. You mentioned a little bit about that, and I'm hoping, you'll come back and join us, and we can have maybe the mechanic that becomes manager give us that story. But how much training and education do applicants need?
There's a wide variance of what they need to bring to the table. For instance, our entry-level jobs, they can come straight out of high school and apply and be fully employed with all those benefits we just discussed.
Right.
If they have a trade, let's say they went off to be a diesel mechanic and went to a trade school, they could bring that skill to us and we could immediately hire them as a mechanic of a diesel-driven product, or maybe nowadays we're getting into the hybrid products. If we were hiring for a civil engineer, for instance, where they need a degree in civil engineering, they would come to us with that degree, but to learn the actual job, we would help them through that and walk them through the steps once they're hired.
For those of you who've just joined us, you're tuned to OC Spotlight on OC Talk Radio. I'm your host, Claudia Shambach. My guest is Brenda Diederichs, Chief Human Resources Officer for the County of Orange, and we're talking about what it takes to get on in. Worth the 700 titles, a total of 18,000 positions. Do you know whether, I'm sort of broadsiding with this one, do you know sort of what that ranks the County of Orange as the most major employer in the county?
We're number 3.
Number 3, okay. I guess after maybe some pharmaceutical companies, or UCI must be
UCI
near the
is
top.
one.
Okay, so somebody between, so you're the third most. All right. So then we're talking about how applicants can be read. Now, are most jobs requiring computer skills at this point? I mean, from all the entry-level positions that you can think of, certainly all the mid and upper professional ones, but isn't the computer literacy pretty much standard for every single job that you hire people for?
Most jobs do involve the use of a computer. It's our method of communication, as it is everywhere, where we email, we send memos via the computer. A lot of our records and statistics and such are kept on the computer in a variety of different computer programs. Even if I'm a mechanic, years ago, it changed from keeping paper record of when different transactions happened with the work that they do, and now they enter that directly onto a computer where it's in real time recorded in our bank of information.
So let's give you a chance to tell our listeners, what's the workplace kind of culture setting? How is the County of Orange Human Resources Office addressing needs that protect all the employees from sexual harassment, sexual predation, some kind of bullying, abuse, those kinds of things that take place that we're all reading about in the news and listening about in the news?
Well, Claudia, thank you for that. That's a very timely question, as we know. And I think public agencies have been ahead of the private market for quite some time. We've always been sensitive about making sure that we follow the laws. And so we've had policies prepared where we have been implementing this for over the vastness of the years since it's been law. And we have an internal equal employment office that's set up in the Human Resources Department. Therefore, it's separate from any other department. So if an employee has a concern, they can go to a centralized department that will then investigate the concerns. And then if it's founded that something did happen, we would go remedy the situation or determine that maybe it isn't sexual harassment, but maybe a different kind of concern. And then another piece of my department or division would handle that.
So the term I hear is like toxic, sort of a toxic workplace or hostile sorts of dynamics. So that would be like a notch below the kind of harassment, and that's where workplace culture is inculcated from.
Correct.
Your branch of the whole County of Orange.
Well, and that's
agency.
something I feel it's a privilege to be able to work in human resources because we help the organization trend better with its culture, with the expectations of how our managers are to perform in the workplace, the expectations of how our employees behave in the workplace, and we have the ability to work with all the departments to correct where there might be slippage, into something that would be less than attractive behavior or less than acceptable commenting, and we will then directly correct that situation.
So I guess my wide-eyed question is, do you think the reason you're exemplary is there's greater transparency with an agency that is more accountable to the ratepayers, the taxpayers?
Well, yes, that is true. For instance, we are subject to the Public Records Act, so people can ask questions about what is going on in our environment in a way that they cannot do so if it's a private organization and they have problems. The public can't go to Xerox, for instance, and say, what are the records related to your claims? What have you done about them? Have you resolved them? They're not subject to that, but we are. We are fully transparent to our community, unless, of course, it's about the personal privacy rights of our employees.
So where do listeners get more information about the positions that are available? Where's the first place to go when they get onto the kiosk, their own computer, their phone?
ocgov.com. All they have to remember is ocgov.com. It's that simple. And even if they don't find a position that they feel they wish to apply for today, the NeoGov system, which is the platform they'll land on, allows them to select positions that they would be interested in applying for when they come open. So that way, they'll indicate their interest, and when it comes open, they'll get an email, and it'll tell them, it's open, you may apply now.
So that works pretty smoothly then.
It does.
And it's your recruitment tool.
We hope so.
A pipeline to recruitment.
Perfect.
So how many, we've broken it down by titles and positions. So can you, off the top of your head, tell us how many agencies? And then we're going to go geographic and talk about the spatial aspect of each of those.
The number of agencies, I know we have over 20 agencies in the county. And just to sort of give you a smattering, we have the Register of Voters, we have the assessors, we have the sheriff, of course, we have the public defender, the DA, we have the community resources that covers multiple services, library, parks, and housing benefits and community benefits for our constituents. We also have Public Works, which makes sure our infrastructure stays sound. Of course, we have our budget department, our CEO office, but it just goes on and on.
And government, the County Board of Supervisors is an
Correct.
agency. And
Absolutely. They are a group. They occupy the 5th floor of our building.
the whole floor.
Yes.
And some.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and that the spatial thing sort of fascinates. And I think we all know that Santa Ana is the county seat. Why don't you tell us about county employment opportunities that are distributed downtown and in hubs and elsewhere? I mean, you mentioned sort of the type of job, but sort of the spatial aspect of employment with OC.
Thank you, because that's going to be very helpful to our potential clients and applicants. A lot of people think they have to work in downtown Santa Ana because that's where the hub of it is, our Hall of Administration. But that couldn't be further from the truth. We have jobs all over the county. We have services being provided regionally in South County, Central County, North County, and that covers all those agencies we talked about. For instance, sheriffs have offices all throughout the county, and we also do contracting work with cities. So
Like how many sheriff's offices are there? I mean, like
I don't
like
know
a dozen
offhand.
around. I mean, like sort of more than just in 3 different regional parts, but there may be sort of
they're-
like groupings of municipalities where that sheriff serves.
Correct.
Okay.
They would have an office in each of the cities where we serve as the sheriff or their policing department. So we also have parks and recs located at every park and rec location. So as many parks as there are that are run by the county, that's that many work locations. For instance, I'll give you one with the clerk recorder. They do marriages at the Orange Old County Courthouse.
Right. Oh.
And
Santa
it's
Ana?
that, yes, exactly. And it's a very lovely place to be married. But they also opened up an office in South County.
And where's that?
I want to say Laguna, but I'm not sure.
Laguna Hills. Okay.
And I haven't been there yet to do a wedding. I have officiated a few ceremonies.
You have?
I have. I've married 6 couples.
Is that right? I did
have.
not see that coming. So
Me
and it
neither.
all kinds of ceremonies then, because it's Orange County. I mean,
Some come in like they got up that morning and decided to get married, and others come in full marriage regalia, and it's just fantastic.
so that they both have a little something for you to say, and then do you have your like standard script?
I do, and I even get coached by the clerk recorder himself.
Is that right?
He stood on the sideline and coached me through it, so it was a wonderful day.
So do you have one scheduled?
I don't now.
Not yet. Okay.
No, I have to do round 2 soon. It was so enjoyable.
Okay. Well, fine. So we talked about the hub, but there could be like other like mini hubs that are throughout the area, so around the county, and we can tell because there's like this whole County of Orange symbol that we can recognize. That's the office space where we can do business.
Correct. And another way to quickly find out if there's a location that you might be interested in is to go to our website, because you can go to every department and then you can sort of get a listing of where all of our locations are. And in that way you can identify personally for yourself what works for you.
Well, around the corner, I know you've got some plans to recruit new applicants into the general and the specific openings.
We do.
So tell us about what is around the corner.
We have a really wonderful event, and it's co-sponsored by Supervisor Steele, and it will be at the Orange County Fairgrounds on May 9th. The event is free, so anyone coming in can attend for free and park for free. And the goal is to give them access to a variety of Orange County employers, and of course, the County of Orange will be featured. We will be the center stage for that event.
And will that be an all-day job fair?
Yes, it will.
Okay, fine. Well, and so to oc.gov, then anybody can get more information about when and whether do people need to make reservations for the job fair to be ready, be on your docket?
No, just come with a curious mind and ready to apply, or at least get connected with how to apply. We will have a full set of staff there from both the departments that they may be interested in working for, as well as our HR team, to assist them with searching the on-site ads, and also visiting some of the some of the departments, like the sheriffs will be there, Public Works will be there, Parks and Rec will be there. We're going to get as many departments as we can so they can in real time have a visit with any department they may be interested in working for.
And if somebody happens not to be able to make it on May 9th, there's always more scheduled in the rest of the year. We can cover that at a later date, but there's always more coming. There's
Absolutely.
always more scheduled.
And they can always look at ocgov.com.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have. Brenda Diederichs, Chief Human Resources Officer for the County Org. Thanks for sitting in with us today.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a delight. Once again, I'd like to thank Paul Roberts for engineering today's live show and live and simulcast here today. Next week, we've got on tap Olivia Anastasiadis, curator of the Richard Nixon Library. She's going to be talking about the Vietnamese oral history exhibition now on display. Thank you for listening, everyone. Talk to you next week.
You've been listening to another episode of OC Spotlight, brought to you by Orange County's community radio station, octalkradio.net.